Good evening. It is 7:30 p.m. and we will call to order the September 11th meeting of the New Rochelle Public Library Board of Trustees. As I mentioned, it is 7:30 p.m. We have a quorum with the full board present, and so I will start the meeting. And there's an attendance sheet that has gone around and it looks like it is fully signed. So then we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. There is no executive session tonight, and so I will present the agenda for the meeting. It has been passed to all of the shared with all of the board members. You've had a chance to review it. And so I'll ask for a motion to accept the agenda as stated. Second by Vera. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Great. Motion passes. The agenda is approved. So we'll move on to our secretary and the presentation of the minutes.
Yes. The minutes of the August 14th board meeting were shared in advance with the board, and so I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the August 14th board meeting. May I have a second?
Seconded by Tatiana. Okay, call for, is there any discussion, any questions related to the minutes from the August meeting? Hearing none, calling for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Great, motion passes. All right, moving on to regular business. We do not have a report from the Westchester Library System because they are still on summer break until the end of September. Our representative, I know, lucky them. Our representative, David Manner, will be back for our October meeting, and I'm sure he will have quite a bit of news to share from the meeting for this month. So I will move on to the president's report. Just it's kind of a few brief updates. September is library card sign up month, and so this is a very exciting time for me as I grew up in my local libraries in the Bronx and in Manhattan. And it's a wonderful time for young kids to get their library cards. So we invite all of our New Rochelle families to visit the main library or the Huguenot Children's Library and sign up for a library card to take out books, recordings, and more, either in person, online, or through our Libby app. This weekend, I'm sure we'll hear from the Community Relations Committee on this as well. This weekend is New Rochelle's annual street fair. That's on Saturday, September 13th. And we note that it will be on North Avenue in front of City Hall because both the library and the foundation will have tables at the street fair. This is an opportunity for you to learn more about for the community to learn more about the programs that are happening at New Rochelle Public Library, as well as the good work that the foundation does to support the library and its programs. So we encourage you to attend the street fair, not just to learn more about all the wonderful offerings of this wonderful city of New Rochelle, but also our fabulous library. Finally, on a more somber note, I'd like to just note that this month's meeting happens to fall on the 24th anniversary of 9/11. And for that, I would like to take a brief moment of silence in remembrance for the nearly 3,000 lives that were lost that day. So if we can take a moment for that. Thank you all. I want to just note that public libraries function as community resources and repositories of history, not just the history of New Rochelle, but also the history of monumental moments that happen in our nation, in our world, both positive and negative. And it is the purpose of libraries to preserve and provide access to information, stories, and history, and truth and facts. In addition to the books that the library has about 9/11, We also have free museum passes to the 9/11 Memorial and Museum, and we encourage our community and the residents of New Rochelle to make use of these museum passes. They are free and they are available. Please come and find out more about them and visit the collection of materials. Thank you. And with that, I will pass it on to our director for the director's report.
Thank you, Lucille. I'm very excited to be attending my first ever New Rochelle Street Fair this Saturday, so I'll be sure to report on it next month. So the City School District of New Rochelle approached us to discuss the possibility of having the library conduct a separate independent annual audit rather than being included within the school district's broader audit moving forward. This shift is intended to strengthen fiscal compliance, improve internal controls, and reinforce our independent oversight of public funds, especially as we continue to demonstrate accountability and transparency in how the library manages its budget. As has been discussed with the officers of our library board, this fiscal year will be a hybrid year in terms of our audit arrangement. We're going to be utilizing the school district's existing audit contract with an addendum for the library, and with the understanding that next year that the library will have the flexibility to select and put out proposals for its own independent audit audit firm. I've received the addendum to the school district's audit engagement, which specifically covers the library's financial statements. The proposed fee structure is $25,000 for the audit itself, plus a one-time fee of $5,000 for the preparation of the library's initial financial statement and first-time audit documentation. The pricing aligns with what we had anticipated. And moving forward, this will be a line in our future budget planning. Before confirming, we did request that the engagement letter more clearly reflect the relationship between the library and the school district, especially since the district acts as both our taxing authority and the custodian of funds under Education Law 259. We asked that the following clarification be added to the beginning of the audit scope and objective section: that the district currently serves as both the taxing authority for levies supporting the library and as custodians of the library's funds, which may be expended per Education Law 259. For the period reviewed, the library did not have a separate treasurer. This addendum, the clarification was accepted and incorporated into the agreement. The agreement was reviewed by our legal counsel and reviewed by library board officers. At this time, I'd like to recommend that the board move forward with a vote to formally accept the contract as presented by Bonadio and Company LLP for upcoming audit engagement.
Thank you, Eugenia. So I'm going to make a motion. Thank you for that kind of the clarity and the thoroughness of that report out. With that, I'm going to make a motion for the board to move forward with this audit engagement and formally accept the contract for a separate independent audit. May I get a second? Seconded by Corey Galloway. I am going to open it up for any questions or discussion related to the motion and the information shared. Nope. Okay. Hearing none, I will call for a vote to accept the audit engagement. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Great, motion passes. Was that the full director's report? That's the full director's report. Okay, thank you. So the next item on the agenda is the treasurer's report. We do not yet have a treasurer. We look forward to having one soon. So I will move forward then with the board committee reports, beginning with Budget and Finance Committee and Rhiannon.
The Budget and Finance Committee did not meet this past month. But we are working and moving forward with our treasurer search and hiring process. Eugenia, our director, already, and we just voted on the audit engagement, so I don't have to update on that. We meet again on September 24th, and I will have a more comprehensive report at the next board meeting.
Great, thank you, Rhiannon. Moving on to the Buildings and Grounds Committee with Corey Galloway.
We did not meet this month due to illness of the director, but we did have a meeting with an update on the children's room project, and construction continues to move ahead. Obviously, the foundation is the financier of that, and we as a library is just one of the overall managers of making sure the construction project is complete. That's all.
Thank you, Corey. Moving on to the Community Relations Committee with Nancy Weinberger and Vera Sultan.
Sure. Just this. Okay, so we did not meet this month, but we just wanted to remind the public about the street fair that Lucille mentioned at the beginning of the board meeting, as well as to piggyback on what Corey was saying about the grand opening of the Children's Garden, the new improved Children's Garden will have a grand opening for the public on October 18th. Which is Saturday, and it's really from 1:30 to 4, and there'll be several hours of children's programming, including song catchers, and it'll be a very exciting time for everyone to see the completion of this project that really was a partnership, a public, private, and government partnership. So it's very, very exciting for the library and for everyone who uses the library.
Great. Thank you, Nancy and Vera. Moving on to the Personnel Committee with Tatiana.
Hi, the Personnel Committee met on August 18, 2025. And in that meeting, we continued the discussions regarding the ADP transition. And our next meeting will be next Monday, September 15 at 9 a.m. But I also have, I would like to make a motion to approve consent agenda for personnel resolutions number 2025-09, 1 through 3, according to the recommended action for each item. All trustees must have this on the folder.
Would have received.
If
and
they
this would
received
have
it,
been shared.
yes.
Great. Okay. Motion has been made for approval for the consent agenda for 2025-09-1 through 3. May I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Rhiannon. Any questions or discussion related to the consent agenda? Great. We'll have a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And okay. Motion passes. Is that it?
Good, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, moving on to the Policy Committee with Pilar Cortez.
Thank you, Tatiana. Good evening, everyone. The Policy Committee met this month on Monday, September the 8th. The focus of our meeting, we reviewed policies that were in progress, which could be moved forward for board review and approval to this September board meeting, as well as upcoming policies. We also looked back at the ones that have been passed since the beginning of the year. In addition to that, we discussed our calendar as we typically do. And I'd like to note that our next meeting is going to be October the 6th, a Monday at 9 a.m. The Policy Committee discussed the following: the sexual harassment prevention policy, anti-discrimination policy, remote work, staff gift, adult volunteer, staff development and education, and timekeeping. The committee shared the following 2 policies with the full board that we will be presenting this evening. The first is the sexual harassment prevention policy, and the second is the timekeeping policy. And both of these policies are, I think, a really good examples of why the Policy Committee meets and of the importance of this committee's work. Timekeeping is to help the personnel or the staff understand with this new implementation of ADP, all of the expected like steps and how this functions. So having this all within one concise document, we believe it will be incredibly helpful. Will answer a lot of questions and will allow the staff and the personnel to understand again what's expected in terms of clock-ins, clock-outs, meal breaks, and so forth. The second policy, the sexual harassment prevention policy, is fairly standard, but again, something that's incredibly important as that will, that sets the mark for what the library expects from our staff, our trustees, vendors, and so forth. So with that, I would definitely, as always, like to commend the policy committee for all of the work that everyone has done. Thank you all. And also, I would like to make the first motion to, for the board to accept the timekeeping policy. May I have oh, sorry.
Thank
Wait.
you. A motion's been made for the timekeeping policy. Do you want to read out the resolution? I'm
yes.
happy to read it out.
Sorry, yes, if you don't mind
Okay.
reading that out, that would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's no problem. So whereas the board has instructed the library's executive director to assess fiscal operations with an eye to demonstrate compliance, efficiency, and consistency with strategic objectives, and whereas part of that effort has been to implement use of ADP for the recording of hours worked by employees, and whereas the union and the library collaborated throughout the implementation of ADP on an FAQ, frequently asked questions document, and policy to ensure clarity and confirm that the chance in the medium of recording and approving hours worked did not change any conditions of employment. And be it resolved that the board adopts the timekeeping policy to be effective as of September 1st, 2025. May we get a second? Seconded by Tatiana. Any questions or discussion? Great. Okay, we'll go to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Great. Motion passes. Thank you a lot and to the policy committee for all the work on that.
And I have one
and
other
others. Yes.
policy. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lucille. And thank you, board. The second policy that we'd like to, I'd like to make a motion that the board adopt the sexual harassment prevention policy. May I have a second?
Okay. Seconded by Vera Salter. Any questions or discussion related to the sexual harassment policy? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Sexual harassment policy passes. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, as I mentioned, our next board meeting our next policy meeting, committee meeting will be on Monday, October the 6th.
October 6th.
6th,
Okay, great.
yes, at
All right.
9 a.m.
Okay,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much. Next on the agenda, we will move to approval of checks and warrants. I will turn it over to our head of budget and finance, Rhiannon. Checks and warrants. Oh, sorry.
All right. I would like to make a motion to accept the checks and warrants or the consent agenda for checks and warrants for the fiscal year 2024-2025 warrant 60 and for the fiscal year 2025-2026 warrants 6, 7, 8, and 9. May I have a second?
Okay. Motion for the consent for the 2024-25 warrant 60 and for warrants 6, 7, and 8 was seconded by Corey Galloway. Any questions or discussion related to those checks and warrants? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Great. Motion passes. Thank you, Rhiannon. And all board members will be asked to now sign the approval. All right, moving on to the next item on the agenda for resolutions, any additional resolutions that did not come up during committee reports? Great, hearing none. I do not believe we have any old business on the agenda. And I don't believe there's new business. Okay, there's new business, turning it over to Trustee Rhiannon. Thank you.
This is a little bit of reading, so bear with me. But I would like to read an email that we received and then give a little background. So the email reads as follows. Dear Lucille, we
Oh.
are pleased to inform you that you've been selected to receive one of our 4 2025 Velma K. Moore Awards from the Library Trustee Association, a section of New York Library Association, for your exemplary service and contributions as the trustee or board president of the Board of Trustees of the New Rochelle Public Library in New Rochelle, New York. You were nominated by the Board of Trustees of the New Rochelle Public Library, New Rochelle, New York. Congratulations. A little bit of background on the award. The Velma K. Moore Award was established to honor the memory of Velma Moore, who was one of the charter members of the New York State Association of Library Boards, now the Library Trustees Association section of NYLA. Mrs. Moore worked actively for the improvement of library services in New York State from 1947 until her death in 1961. She served 2 terms as president and was a member of the NYSALB board from its establishment, and for 33 years, she was also a trustee of the Kenmore Public Library near Buffalo, New York. And the award was originally established in 1962 with a gift from the Moore family and carries a $1,500 prize, which will be given to the library or library system of your choice. And the second part I want to read, I'm sorry, bear with me, but this was the nomination that we submitted for the award that led to Lucille winning the award. So here we go. Nomination of Lucille Renwick for the 2025 Velma K. Moore Award. On behalf of the New Rochelle Public Library Board of Trustees, I am honored to nominate our board president, Lucille Renwick, for the 2025 Velma K. Moore Award. Lucille stepped into the role of board president at a pivotal moment for our library. Following the retirement of our library director of 18 years, she guided the board through a period of significant transition with clarity, confidence, and care. Under her leadership, we successfully hired and onboarded an interim director and conducted a national search that culminated in the appointment of a dynamic new permanent director. Lucille's leadership has not only strengthened the board internally, re-energizing our sense of purpose, deepening collaboration, and raising the standard of engagement, but has also had a profound and lasting effect on the library's capacity to serve the New Rochelle community. Her efforts have laid a strong foundation for the library to enhance its services, programs, and operations in alignment with its mission, to improve the life of every citizen in our city by encouraging lifelong learning, protecting intellectual freedom, and ensuring fair and equal access to information. By building a strong collaborative relationship with the new director, Lucille has helped implement systems and processes that will directly improve the library's ability to deliver on its core values. These include creating welcoming, accessible spaces, supporting digital literacy and equitable access to technology, and fostering civic engagement and community connection across New Rochelle's diverse neighborhoods. A hallmark of Lucille's presidency has been her strong and thoughtful collaboration with external partners. She has worked closely with the New Rochelle Public Library Foundation, Friends of the Library and the City of New Rochelle, and the New Rochelle School District, cultivating relationships that have led to increased visibility, support, and shared initiatives that benefit the entire community. Her ability to bridge institutional divides has greatly expanded the library's reach and reinforced its role as a cornerstone of civic life in New Rochelle. Lucille has also taken a highly active role in community outreach and advocacy. In a particularly challenging fiscal year, she attended neighborhood association meetings across the city to speak directly with residents about the importance of the library and to promote the library budget. Her participation in community events and consistent engagement with local stakeholders aligns strongly with the Velma K. Moore Awards criteria regarding the promotion of library services through public speaking, advocacy, and involvement in both professional and library organizations. Lucille's vision, tireless commitment, and passion for public service continue to drive the library forward. She is not only a leader, but a catalyst for meaningful transformation, one whose contributions will have lasting impact on every patron we serve. The entire board proudly supports her nomination for the 2025 Velma K. Moore Award in recognition of her exemplary service and dedication to the mission of the New Rochelle Public. Congratulations.
Wow. Thank you. Let me just say that you'll notice that I write on pieces of paper because I do not speak well extemporaneously, thus I must have notes, so this is not easy for me, but that was spoken like a well novelist, so let me just give you that. And I am honored by, one, by the nomination, two, by the trust given to me by my fellow trustees. But I think it's really, there's no but. And I think it's really important to note that while I have the title of president, this work is not done by one person. It is done by everyone that you see here at this table and by so many others behind the scenes. None of this would be possible if we didn't have an amazing director. What
True.
the description of Eugenia is subtle, because dynamic is just one of the many adjectives to describe who she is and what she's brought to this library. She has helped raise us up as a board. We have worked harder than we ever have before, but with a good goal in mind. And so I so gratefully accept this award. I can't imagine what library we should donate the money to.
You gotta think about that. It's really hard.
But again, I accept it on behalf of my trustees, my fellow trustees, and everyone who works at the New York State Public Library. That's what makes this library great. So thank you. No other new business? Okay, good. Thank you. So we will move on to the next item on the agenda, which is public comment. We have no public comment. Okay. Well, then we'll move on to the final item on the agenda, which is the adjournment. So I will make a motion to adjourn the September 11th meeting of the New Rochelle Public Library Board of Trustees. May I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Nancy Weinberger. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, 7:58. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.